When we went back that first time, I remember it was just like, I cried. I had a really hard time because it just didn't have that same feel. It did not feel like the same place, and you could tell people were like feeling dejected and sad, and we were afraid of losing our business. There was a lot of concern for that too, not just people's businesses but their lives.
I'm Thomas Marnin. I'm a toy maker and co-proprietor of Marnin Sailor.
I'm Sky Sailor. I'm also a toy maker and the other half of Marnin Sailor.
Sky came up with the first toy back in 2012 as a toy for herself. There was just one. She called it the Donut Cat because it was a donut and a cat. Some friends of ours saw it and they asked her to make some more, and I volunteered to help her make some more of them. More and more people started liking it, and more people started buying them, so we started selling them in small shops. We went to a craft fair and did really well. At the craft fair, the director of Pike Place Market's farmer and craft line invited us to apply to be in the market as crafters.
He invited us to do that, and we did, and we got in, and we started up there in November 2013.
Our brand stands out because of its cohesive nature. So when you first see the store, it's kind of surprising that it's designed by just two people. You have this expectation that it's some big thing, so it's kind of, when you find out it's just a couple people, the two of us that do all the design work and just a few people that make all the toys, it's surprising in that way. From just the object itself, I think people appreciate the earnest nature of it. It's not trying to be anything that it's not. It's very much a cute donut cat, and it's two very cute things combined.
I'm Kate Endel, and I'm an illustrator, and my business is Kate Endel Illustration and Fine Art, and I make original pieces of art. I take those images and then I license them to home decor and paper products, and then I write and illustrate children's books, and I sell those items at Pike Place Market. I sell them at various craft shows around the Pacific Northwest, and then I sell with my husband and my collaborator, Casper Baby Pants. We write and illustrate children's books together and sell those products at his shows. It's very colorful, it's very graphic, and I'm cutting decorative papers that come from Japan and India, but I also hand paint and hand color a lot of papers. So I'm doing a drawing. I will then cut the pieces of paper out and put them, I will glue them onto a canvas, and that will be an original piece of art that's ready to go and sell and hang on the wall. I have a few different major areas of inspiration. I am definitely inspired by Japanese fabric and paper, and so that comes in two forms. It comes in yuzen and chiagomi. And then I also have a large collection of Japanese folk art in the form of kokeshi dolls and vintage advertising signs, and that's been a huge inspiration for me. And then I collect weird wooden things, and I also collect Canadian and Alaskan Inuit art. And so all of those things kind of come together to create kind of a whimsical vintage look in my art. 2014 is when I started. And a friend of mine had been working there for several years, and he's like, "You have got to sell down here." And I was like, I don't think so. The thing that I love about Pike Place Market is it's got kind of this like carnival vaudeville atmosphere, and I didn't really think I could be selling at that kind of level 5 days a week. But you don't have to be there 5 days a week. So once I found out that you don't have to be there 5 days a week, I was like, all right, I'll consider this.
I'm Alan Carlisle. I'm a jewelry artist at Pike Place Market.
Hi, I'm Megan Carlisle. I am the owner and one of the creators of Nature's Twist. We design handcrafted gemstone jewelry. We started the business in 2010, and we started our business to actually, we had both worked at Pike Place for a long time, and him as a musician and I worked in sales, and we just wanted to be part of the community and start our own business there. We were encouraged by another artist there, and we just decided we were going to start making this art, and we learned, we just taught ourselves how to make it. It was kind of weird, but.
Yeah, neither of us had artistic backgrounds outside of music. We just kind of taught ourselves as we went along. A lot of YouTube tutorials when we got into the electroforming. That was our main source of inspiration and knowledge. So we a lot of trial and error.
Lots of trial and error.
We were doing the trees and they were selling really well, but it was such a large item and kind of fragile, and there's so much tourist traffic, down there. We wanted something that was a little more easy to buy and take with you, take on a plane, and that kind of thing. So honestly,
Everything that we've made, we've sold well. We stopped doing the trees because they were so time intensive and they were hard. With the electroforming, we could make larger batches and expand our business.
So my name is Claudia Serrato, and my business is City Kid Style, and I make children's clothing and pet clothing out of upcycled materials, so old t-shirts and things like that. I just kind of have always sewn as a hobby, and then when my daughter was born, I started sewing clothing for her, and that kind of led into City Kid Style. So I had a couple of friends, Kate, Endel, and then my friend Twyla. I have a friend named Amy. We're all part of this group called Seattle Lady Makers, and a couple of them were working at Pike Place Market, and they were like, you really should apply. And I kind of hemmed and hawed for like 2 years, and I finally applied and started there in 2018. My whole thing is more about trying to eliminate waste, and there's a lot of waste that happens in the fashion industry. So it's interesting, when I started off, I started using my husband's old clothing to kind of test. I was like, I'm not gonna waste, new fabric on a new pattern that I just designed. So I would take his old stuff and I would, be like, okay, I'll just use this as test fabric. But then I was like, wait a minute, actually, like this stuff is really cool. And then I started just researching more about the impact of the fashion industry on the environment and how much waste goes into it. And so then I started saying, like, I think I should just use, old clothing. So it kind of extends the life of the original clothing, and we're turning it into something new.
So the market before COVID, a big part of Seattle in regular summers is the cruise ships. Like, we have cruises, multiple cruise lines come in to port here almost every single day from like May through September. So just imagine thousands and thousands of people disembarking and just beelining for the market because it's like the place to see. So under normal circumstances, the main arcade upstairs in the summer is just a slow moving sea of people.
There's a lot of artists down there that bring their best. There's just some really incredible artistry and craftsmanship down there. So they want to put people on the line that are gonna stand up to those other people. No business is gonna make it if you can't find your customer there. So if your product's not good enough, it's kind of not worth it.
Our business is constant adjustment. And one of the great things about having been in the craft market, that's a very scrappy life. It's very difficult to do. When it's cold outside, you're cold and you're outside.
They're like my people. That's really one of the greatest joys of working down there is the people that are selling down there, the variety of things they're selling, the variety of experiences they've had. I mean, some people have literally been born into that market and brought in as a toddler and grown up there, and now they're selling there.
Such a sense of community. And I think once you start going more and you see how, people are connected and how well people know each other and people are willing to help out, and everyone knows about everyone's families and everything. You really feel the community. Yeah, for sure.
I stopped. I would think my last day was probably like the first, maybe the second week in February, only because I had taken a trip to Ohio for 2 weeks. And I'm in Ohio, and we were starting to get news of the pandemic. And my mom's like, I really don't think I want you selling down there. I think that things are going to get, kind of scary. And I said, well, let's just see what happens. I left Ohio the end of February, and when I came back, they were starting to shut things down. And I was having a great January and February, which is unusual down there because that's when things kind of shut down a little bit. And I thought, wow, if I'm having these amazing sales in January and February, I can't imagine what the rest of the year is going to be like. So, I mean, it was devastating on so many different levels. But just from the selling point of view, I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, our last day was, I think it was March 12th or 13th, and we haven't gone back. We wanted to wait until we were vaccinated and felt a little safer down there because we had been working the month prior. We know we were full-time down there, so you come into a contact with a lot of different germs down there. I think we always joke about there being a market immunity just because of all the germs that were around all the time. I'm higher risk, so that was definitely a worry for me. So we were taking it pretty seriously.
I stopped at the end of February in 2020. I actually got really sick. Who knows if it was COVID or not? Probably not. But I had like a terrible cough and flu. And so I took about 2 weeks off from the market. And then right after that is when people started kind of really being like, maybe I shouldn't be here.
It wasn't chaotic here. It was just suddenly everyone was gone.
Yeah. It was like it had been normal, and then we were open one day and no one came in.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And then I think like a week after that, they were like, okay, it's shut down now. We had the lockdown.
It was chaotic personally because we had just opened the store 3 months before the lockdown. We were in a state of panic, I would say, a little bit. We have responsibilities to our employees. We have responsibilities to the market. We also spent a lot of money to open this up, so we had financial responsibilities as well. And to suddenly have all of our income just disappear, it was a difficult adjustment. The silver lining of that has been local people have come down and we've been able to have conversations with them. Sometimes they're scared off by the crowds, so it's been nice to get to meet a lot of people from around here.
Pike Place Market is two things. It's a very, very fragile community, and it's a very, very strong community. So if part of the community is struggling, there are different parts of the market that will come in and help out, whether it's through safety net or they have a whole series of events and auctions to collect funding to be able to support lower income housing. They've just put up this beautiful website for us, the Pike Place Market charitable marketplace, and that was really helpful for me. I was able to sell on their platform along with other vendors, and then a portion of our proceeds went to the foundation.
Well, we had been doing live sales through Instagram for about a year and a half prior to that, and they were pretty small. They were just like 40 or 50 pieces in a couple of hours, and it was just sort of a supplement to the market. It was hard to keep up with stock at the market, so we didn't have a lot of time or energy invested into a website, so we put a lot of that time into the live sales. And we have a really incredible group of customers who very much believe in us, very much support us. Because the Instagram live sales have been so successful, we're going to sort of flip-flop how we were doing it. Instead of Pike Place being the bread and butter, Instagram being the supplement, Instagram is going to be the bread and butter, Pike Place will be the supplement. Pike Place brings a lot more than just money. It brings that sense of community. I get to meet people and we get to interact with them and make real world connections with people face to face, which it's not the same online. So we'll go back, and we're in the process of building a website also. So we're trying to do it all.
I did start selling online. However, online sales, that's like a full-time job in itself. And that's probably why way back when I started doing craft shows and farmers markets, because my online sales were few and far between. As I've progressed over the years, I have learned how to drive traffic to my website a little bit more. I still prefer the in-person selling, and I love being at Pike Place. So I never have put a ton of focus into my website. So when the pandemic hit, I was like, I guess I really have to put a lot of focus into my website. If I have to do one or the other, I kind of prefer the in-person selling. I think that's what I've learned from all of this, for sure.
It's fascinating to get to meet the person who is so integrally connected to what you're buying. Like, this isn't just how we make money. This is what we do. This is who we are. It's much more than, it's not gig work, you know? It feels like this is our life. It's our lifestyle. We have been tempered by a lot of adverse experiences with our business. So COVID starting and the lockdown starting, though it was alarming, we've been through a lot with the business and just personally. I feel like we've just been tested. We've been tested at every level of our business. And we know how much fortitude we have, we know how much determination we have, and we also know that this is something that we care about and love doing. So just bearing down and making this happen and surviving through this has been par for the course.